Sorry guys, the microphone keep going on mute. My apologies. Are you all hearing me now?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently, when I switch from PowerPoint mode to breakout room, it does a series of stuff. So the transition is not that smooth. So I'm sorry if it's a little bit, jittery. Okay. So what's your thought? What did you guys get for your answer for the breakout for the flower show? What did Jasmine enter? Anyone?
A lily.
Jasmine entered a lily. We know Jasmine didn't enter a rose and she cannot enter a jasmine. So she entered a lily. Rose entered a. What did Rose enter? If you want to have a fun,
Jasmine.
you have to make it fun too, guys. You have to participate as well. Feel free to take off.
Yeah. What happened, Ravi? When you switch to the slide on our room, we didn't see the icebreaker at all, so we had no idea. Yeah, so first time we seen it.
So I am so sorry, about that. I won't bother with the breakout rooms. I was just trying something there, but the reality was that some persons would have seen the slide and then switched to the room. I apologize. So based on this, it says Jasmine, Rose, and Lily each had an entry in a county flower fair. And they couldn't enter a flower with their same name, right? So there's a Jasmine, a Rose, and a Lily, but not in that order. And none of the three competitors could enter their namesake flower. So we know that Jasmine did not enter a rose. So based on that, if she didn't enter a rose, she could not enter a Jasmine either. So Jasmine entered a lily.
A lily, yeah.
And Rose would have entered
a jasmine.
And Lily entered a
A rose.
Good, very good. Now we're going to make it a little bit more difficult for you guys, right? Now, part of this, and you might wonder, well, what does this have to do with what you're going to do? A lot of what you're going to do is logical thinking. And logical thinking, basically, because you're going to use that in programming, even in your research as well. So a lot of the exercises are encouraging and to stimulate your thought in terms of logical thinking. Let's take another exercise. We have about 4 of them, though. They're not very long. Now, I want you to know the following. Don't just go to the bottom part, just at the top. You are given 2 statements followed by 2 conclusions, numbered 1 and 2. Now, this part that I'm going to say is important. You have to take the given statements as true, even if they seem to be at variance from what you commonly know as a fact. So, dispel what you know as a fact and only accept the statement as truth. So, read the conclusion and then decide which of the conclusions logically follow from the statements given, disregarding commonly known facts. So this is the statement, and you have to assume this statement is true. All mangoes are golden in color. No golden colored things are cheap. Assume those 2 statements are true. Then look at the 2 conclusions. All mangoes are cheap. Golden colored mangoes are not cheap. So based on the following, based on those 2 statements, right, and conclusion 1 and 2, can you determine now if A, only conclusion 1 is true, only conclusion 2 is true, either 1 or 2 follows, meaning either 1 or 2 is true, neither 1 nor 2, or both 1 and 2 follows. So take a look at it. Each of you think carefully. Ideally, it would be nice to go in your groups to discuss, but we're getting some challenges there. So, right, we're going to take a look. Each of you try to draw your conclusions as well, what you think is the right answer. You don't have to say it as yet. You could put it in the message, so you could private message, or you could put it just in the public message. It's fine, while the others get a chance. And feel free to ask me any questions as well. Let's check the chat to see anyone posted anything in the chat so far. Nothing, no problem.
So for the all mangoes are golden in color, Ravi, that statement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with golden colored mangoes are not cheap.
Right. So which one? So are you saying that only 2 is true? Golden colored mangoes are not. The answer will be A, B, C, D, or E from the below, right? So you have to choose whether it's A, B, C, D, or E from the bottom.
B. Yeah. Only conclusion 2 follows.
What about the others? So you guys have your thoughts on it as well?
Yeah, B makes sense. B is the only option that makes sense.
Gotcha. Anybody else have any differing perspective?
No, I agree with B. B is the only one that makes sense.
Very good. So wonderful. And I agree with you that B is the only one that makes sense. Good. So we can move on because they said no golden color things are cheap and mangoes are golden in color. So therefore, if mangoes are golden in color and no golden color things are cheap, then it is false to say all mangoes are cheap. So 1 is false and golden colored mangoes are not cheap. That's correct. So 2 is correct. So only conclusion 2 follows, which is B. Let's go to the next one. This one is a little bit more tricky. So generally, most people get the first one right. Let's take a look at this one here now. The same rule follows. You have to assume that the 2 statements in yellow there, in yellow background, are true. Some doctors are fools. Now, apologies if there are any doctors in the conversation here. Some doctors are fools, and some fools are rich. Some doctors are fools, and some fools are rich. Can that, from those 2 statements, assume both are true? Could you conclude that some doctors are rich or some rich are doctors? Now, please remember, ignore any commonly known facts. So if you think doctors are rich because you know doctors are rich, that has nothing to do with this. You have to disregard that and only work with the statement that is given. Some doctors are fools and some fools are rich. Which of these can you conclude now? So think of your answer. You can put it into your chat. I'm not seeing a correct. I'm not seeing a correct answers yet. Think carefully. For those who are joining us a bit late, this is a bit of an icebreaker because I wanted the session to be a bit more lighthearted as well. So you understand why. So if you're joining at this point, you're in the right session. It's just simply, it's part of our icebreaker before we get into the session.
Oh, I think the answer is E.
Okay, so let's discuss. Now, the correct answer is D, but I'll explain why. Okay, now it says that some doctors are fools and some fools are rich. So some of the doctors are fools, but if some doctors are fools, it doesn't mean that the fools are only doctors. Fools could be made up of other people as well, right? But some of the doctors are fools, and some of the fools are rich. Now, so there are some fools who are rich. It does not mean that the fools who are rich are doctors, because some of the fools who are rich could be other than doctors. So therefore, the first one, some doctors are rich, is not true. We know that some fools are rich, but the fools who are rich may not be doctors. Good? So the first one, we cannot conclude that one is true. Similarly, right, some of the rich, we know that some fools are rich, right? So some of the rich are fools, but we cannot again agree that some of those rich, the ones who are rich, some of them are fools, but those fools may not be doctors. They are nothing guarantee that they are doctors. So we cannot conclusively draw that some of the rich are doctors as well. So neither one nor two follows. Okay? All right, so let's go to any question before I move on to that one. Again, you have to remove any commonly known fact, right, that you hold. Let's go to our next slide. Okay, so this one is a singles bar. And in this particular icebreaker here, while sitting in a club where all single men tell the truth and all married men lie, so all single men tell the truth and all married men lie, a woman is approached by 3 men. So she asks the first guy, so reiterate, all single men tell the truth, all married men lie. Assume that is always true, right? So we have to work with what is given. All single men, they always tell the truth, married men always lie. So woman is approached by 3 men. So she asks the first guy if he's married, but the music is loud and she can't hear his answer. So she turns to the second guy who tells her. So this is what the second guy says. The first guy said, I am married, but he is really single. So just to reiterate, the second guy says, so the second guy is telling her, the first guy said, I am married, but he is really single. Then she turns to the third guy who says, the second guy is single. So can you use those statements to determine the marital status of the 3 men? Go ahead, think about it. Would you like me to put you all in groups for this one, or you all are okay working just outside of the group and just?
Yeah, this is okay with me.
No problem. All right, you got 1 more minute. Okay, I'm just going to share with you the answers I'm seeing. Most of them are incorrect. So just think carefully, look back, it's all logical. Okay, so time for our discussion, right? You guys ready to discuss? Now, you cannot hold on to what you know is true, right? We have to work with what this says here. So according to this, it says, all single men tell the truth. So if you guys ready, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what it says here, all single men tell the truth. So if all single men tell the truth, if you ask a single guy if he's single or married, what will he say? If he's telling the truth, he will say he's single, because all single men always tell the truth. So he will say he's single. If you ask a married guy if he's single or married men always lie. So what will married men say?
That is single.
That is single. So no matter who you ask, the answer should always be, I am single, right? Whether you're lying or telling the truth, the answer should be, whether you're single or married, the answer should be, you are single, because single men tell the truth, married men lie. So let's listen to what now the first guy never said a thing. So how could you determine the marital status of the first guy? Well, we have to look at what the second guy says. So the second guy says, the first guy said, I am married. Now we know that no one could ever say I am married. So that makes it a lie. No one should ever say I am married. So that makes the second guy a liar. And if the second guy is a liar, what does that mean about the second guy?
That he's married.
It's married.
So we could only conclude so far that the second guy is married. But let's listen further what the second guy says, right? But so the second guy is saying, but he is really single, but really he is single. So the second guy says, the first guy is really single. Now we already draw the conclusion that the second guy is a liar. So the second guy says, the first guy is really single. But if he's a liar, what does that mean about the first guy?
That he's married. The first guy is married.
He's married.
So just from the second guy's statement, the second guy made two things, right? One, the first statement he makes him a liar, so we know he's married. And then he says that the first guy is single, and we know he's a liar. So if he's a liar, then he said the first guy is single, then the first guy is really married. So person one, person two are married. The third guy says that, and she goes to the third guy who says, the second guy is single. Well, we know the second guy is married. So that makes the third guy a liar. So that the third guy is married. Good? So you follow from the logical explanation? All right, cool.
Yeah,
So that's meant to really just add a little bit of humor, etc., to the whole conversation. And now we'll move on now to the rest of the session as well, where we discuss your induction. So let's move forward as well. I'm gonna put the phone on. I'm sorry, hear me the phone up. I'm gonna to mute all participants, right, temporarily. Of course, if you want to ask again, you can simply ask, unmute yourself and then ask, right? Cool. So we're gonna do an overview of the program. Some of the items, a few of them were covered already by the induction, but just to reiterate, but most of it would be new to you guys, okay? So let's look at the University of Bedfordshire and what is their vision, because you are joining a university, you're joining CTS College, and you need to understand the vision of the university. The university's vision is of a world where all are able to benefit from transformational educational experience. And we are truly hoping that what we do is fulfilling the university's mission of being creating transformative leaders as well. So we're hoping that your experience at CTS is a transformational one. In terms of their vision, is to create a vibrant, multicultural learning community, enabling people to transform their lives by participating in excellent, innovative education, scholarship, and research. Truly, having offered our first semester of the program, I must admit it exceeds my initial expectation. And this is not trying to market here. I'm being totally honest in my opinion. When we started the program, the number of, when we look at the exercises and the assignments students were given, I really appreciated the value and the range of different skills students were developing. So you're developing skills like in programming and academic writing and researching, as well as even presenting as well. You have to present, working in groups, etc. So a range of skills were being developed throughout the program. So it's not just about, hey, I need to get a piece of paper, the paper being the degree. It's much more than that, a lot more than that you're gaining, and particularly practical skills you're gaining throughout all of it. Let's understand our roles, because the role of CTS and the role of UoB collectively is creating your experience. CTS College role is to start, at the start we do the marketing and recruitment for the program. Once we have marketed, recruited students, the university is the one who accepts all applications. They will also provide your offer letter, and we will submit that. They send your offer letter to CTS. We submit that to you. You accept the application, you accept your offer, you confirm that to CTS. So your interaction is with us, our interaction is with them and you guys. So we are in the middle. Then all the teaching material provided by them, we could customize those. We will also teach you. So our role is to teach you, to provide you face-to-face or online classes, support you throughout the program and your assignments, whatever needs you generally have as well. They will provide the learning environment, the online learning environment that is. They would also provide all the material generally for teaching. They will create all the assignment, they will mark your assignment, and etc. So that's their role. When you pass or fail, they will grade you, and at the end, they were the ones who will confer your degree as well. So that's their role, okay? So that's part of what they do. And our role is to support you in your journey through this program and even beyond as well. Now, typically at CTS College, there's a program manager. And so the program manager is your first line of support, and that is escalated to me, the executive director. Now, usually what I do is at the start, it's developing relationships. So I basically will be the one accepting and working with you initially, and then after I'll pass you on to a program manager. Now, currently I am acting as your program manager in the interim, and eventually I will assign the role of program manager to someone. So in the meantime, I am acting as your program manager as well. So that means, I guess if there's an issue to escalate, he'll escalate it to me as well. But certainly, if there's any issue, you let me know as well, and I will do my best to assist and support as well. Okay? You will have your local tutors, so you could contact via email, telephone, face-to-face discussion. We will create WhatsApp groups as well for you so that you can join these groups, be part of them for your different units. Your lecturers usually are part of those WhatsApp group also. And apart from that, CTS College will be creating an online file. So we have a Google Drive share that we use, that we will upload all the video recordings of your session. We will download the stuff from Brio, make it available there for you guys as well. And all our local lecturer notes will be placed there as well. So you could easily download as well as you'll have access to Brio, which is the online environment created by the university. And so, sorry about that. So your local tutors will be teaching you. They'll be part of your WhatsApp group, etc., providing support. And we'll be making information available to you via Google Share, as well as you'll have all the information available via Brio as well. So you're encouraged to check Brio regularly. All your assignments will be submitted on Brio. Brio is simply the name of the Bedfordshire. We'll go through all of that shortly in terms of Brio. We'll give you a small demo of the Brio learning environment as well. Okay, so that's your Bedfordshire resources that you'll have access to as well. Now, while I would have expectations of my staff, please note there are also expectations of you, the students, as well. You are enrolling in a higher education program. This is a bachelor's degree. Therefore, there's a partnership between you, the tutors, the support staff, and the institution. So you'll be studying both with CTS College and with the university, right? So your role here is not just about subject knowledge. We're also concerned to help you to develop your wider attributes and skills. So of course, to benefit from that, we expect that you'll be attending classes regularly and be engaged as well in your learning. We don't want you to passively attend class. We want you to be active in terms of discussions as well. Okay, so it's important that your attendance in classes is crucial. We have found that in many of our programs, students who are absent, they are likely to not submit assignments and more likely to fail. It's hardly likely that someone is attending classes and failing. If I look, for example, at the results from our first semester, in each case, the students who have been attending classes are passing very easily. And in one module, in one of the level, there are 3 students who did not submit any assignments, but they have not been coming to class. They've only been to like 3 or 4 classes and have not been showing up to class, and they're not submitting assignments. Everybody else in class, attending classes, passing assignments. So far, based on our first semester, the pass rates are extremely high. In 2 of the level, everyone has passed. 1 level, 1 person failed. Well, minus the 3 students who have not been engaged at all. Right? So if you take out the 3 who are not engaged, they didn't submit any assignments or anything, everyone who have submitted have passed, except in level 4, there's one student who has failed 1 module, but everyone else would have passed. So that's really good in consideration. So that's over 90-something% pass rate. But attendance is one of the keys to success. And of course, it's not just attending, but you also have to do your work. So we expect a prompt attendance at the session. We expect involvement, engagement. I expect that if you don't understand something, that yes, you will fight up a bit with it. But the truth is that we want you to cast your burdens onto us. Allow us to support and assist you as well. You're having a challenge, let us know, because we will provide the additional support. Sometimes I'm encouraging you guys as well to form groups where even within the group, you all are your first line of support with each other, because you're all in this together. This is not about, trying to get to success at the expense of everyone else. We're all working together to achieve a common goal. All right. So I expect that even when you're attending your classes, you just have 1 2-hour class for the week per subject, that you make the most out of it. These classes are recorded and it's going to be made available as well. It's going to be on the online Google Drive that we're sharing as well. So you will have access to those. I expect that even if you miss class, you will be reviewing your videos as well. And even if you attend class, you still review it also, because there's value in reviewing notes, etc. Naturally, any problem you liaise with us from the very early stages, and you nag us if you have to in order to get the support that you want. I'd like to think you'll never need to nag us, because we are there from the time you ask. But the truth is, sometimes things fall through the cracks because there are so many other things we're dealing with. But that's why I encourage you, ask us again, ask again. Ideally, that should never be the case, but the reality is that, there's also imperfection in the system, and you will help us to weed out some of those as well. So in terms of expectation, a lot of it is really coming to class and doing your work. That's the general expectation of anyone who's studying. Even if you're working as well, employers will expect you to come to work promptly and to do your work. And the same thing when you're studying as well. Okay? We expect that you'll have respect for others, even in terms of the groups as well, that you'll post respectful stuff in your groups also, not be disrespectful, and act with integrity. Integrity means even with your assignment as well, you'll not cheat, etc. Now, in terms of BREO, that's the Bedfordshire Resources for Education Online, we would look at BREO. BREO is where you would access BREO through the link. You could just do a Google search for BREO, but I've included the link here. So if you look over here, you see this is the URL for BREO, brio.beds, beds of Bedfordshire, .ac, AC is short for academic.uk. So most UK universities will be the university.ac.uk. So to access BREO is brio.beds.ac.uk. Now, you will be given a student number once you get accepted. Your login or your username is that student number. It's usually like a 6-digit number. You need to know that number. Initially, your password is your date of birth in this format. However, please note, once you are given your password, you need to change your password because it will expire. And it may expire at a point where you least likely expect it and you don't know what to do because you get so used to using it. So I strongly encourage you, once you've gotten your BREO password, to change it. The email I'll be sending you with your BREO username and password will have instructions about changing. Please ensure you change your password.
Just now.
Question? Okay. Now, within BREO, you will have access to your units. Your units are the subjects you are enrolled in. Okay, so I'm going to show you a small video of BREO and I'll also show you BREO itself. So I will switch over now where I'll log in on my computer to BREO. So you'll actually be able to get a look at BREO. Now, one other thing as well, BREO is where you have access to all your units, your learning materials, etc. And on BREO, you would be able to access eVision. eVision is another system, but you could access eVision from BREO. eVision is where you get your results. So when you submit an assignment, your assignment is submitted on BREO. Now, each individual assignment results will be on BREO, but at the end of the subject, when the overall grades are provided, the overall grade is on eVision. So eVision will store your overall grade and it will store it at the end of every semester. You will be able to log into eVision and view your overall grades. Okay? So there's BREO and there's eVision, two of the learning items. So what we're going to do as well, we're going to look at this small video on BREO and we'll also take a look as well at our an example of BREO. I will log into BREO also so you can take a look at BREO from here. So this is my login. Are you all seeing the BREO page here on with my login information? Just want to make sure we all together. Good. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm logging in here. Good. When you log into BREO, so this is your home page on BREO. So you could customize this as well. So you'll see links changing password, right? You'll also see some other information, etc. You're seeing SITS eVision. eVision is here. Your university email is here. All right. And you'll have other information, links to student union, etc., which we will discuss in here as well, and student support. So these are different links that will help you as well. And apart from that, here at the top, you can personalize your page here. You have your units, etc. So I'm clicking on units. So when I click on units now, so when you log into BREO, in most cases, you go straight to your units. Of course, you can personalize the page, change the background color, etc. So these are some of the units I have access to. Now, your screen and my screen would look similar initially, but when we get into the units, I would be able to see a bit more than you because you'd be more from a student view. So for example, if I click on computer system structure, this is a unit here. If I click on this unit, so I click on these are the units here. This is what a unit page looks like. So we're inside of a unit. This part here in black, you would not see this here. This is more the administrative side. You would not see this, right? So you would not see this part, but you will have access over here. These are your general announcements that are being made. And even here, within here, you'll have your unit information. Your unit information, basically what it is, this is a file that will tell you about your assignments and when they're due, etc. typically. So that is what these files will contain. All right, so this is a high level, it's like your syllabus. If you look at your syllabus, this is what these unit guides, unit information will contain. Now, if you go to guided learning is the actual learning materials. This is what the university provides here. So this one subject is made up of two parts. It includes databases and it includes networking. In terms of databases, so we go to section 1, databases. So this is how the university organizes the material. So in week 1, you have introduction to this unit and introduction to database. And you will have different materials as well to review. So this is what it looks like as well here, right? So you have some tutorials as well here. So these are different things you're expected to review during your first week. So this is week 1 learning. Of course, these are up here at the top. These are, we call it breadcrumbs. If you click back here now, you could go now to week 2. So this is databases. From here, you could go to week 2, week 3, etc. So if I go to week 3, normalization, it's made up, this is lecture, practical, homework as well. So some of it are further subdivided accordingly. So this is your lecture notes here, right? With some stuff. So this is what it generally looks like within the module. So this is your module part here. In terms of assessment and feedback is where you would normally submit your assignment. So here is where students would normally upload their assignment. So if they click here, they should be given the option here to upload assignment. I wouldn't be able to upload assignment, right? But the students, normally, this is how you would upload, right? So to upload the assignment, it tells you the due date, right? How much points is for this, right? Okay. And of course, you could add comments as well. And you could upload, you see, you could browse for the file here. This is where you browse for your file, you upload, and then you click submit at the bottom here. And that's how you submit an assignment on Brio. This is for this unit. Okay. If I click back on units again, of course, you have your reading list here. So the reading list will be materials or books and stuff like that that you need for the units. So these are some of the information that you would require, right? I'm not going to go through the authentication part here, right? But your reading list is generated here, and you have your teaching team who you'd be able to view over here. So this is your teaching with their lecturer. This is their email addresses that you could reach. This is the university's lecturer, right? So this is the university staff who are available as well. If you click here, you could go to your other units also. So from here, you could view your other units as well. And the layout of the other units are pretty similar. So if I go to, let's say, level 6, research methodologies and emergent technologies, if I click here, it's pretty much the same thing. So this is your announcement. This is your unit information. This is your guided learning. And the guided learning is the learning material for the course. So I clicked on guided learning, and here you'd be able to see the learning material. So theirs is a little different. So you can see each week information at a glance here, right? So notice it may be slightly different formatted from one to the other, but generally it's the same overall content. Okay, click here for your assessments and feedback. Right, so this is your different assignments. Click here for your reading list. So this is what the online learning environment looks like. Okay, and of course, this is the reading list here. All right, and so this is Brio at a glance. In terms of the video as well, I wanted us to take a quick look at the video. The video is a bit slow. We're not going to look at all of it, but just a brief overview of the video as well, so you could appreciate Brio just a small bit as well.
Welcome to this short introduction about Brio. This is the university's online learning space. It stands for Bedfordshire Resources for Education Online.
Now, because we're familiar with logging in, because I would have logged in as well, so I'm going to move beyond a bit in terms of this here. And we'll get into a bit more of the, right, so things that I would not have covered. So I'm just going to start from here.
Now, I mentioned Study Hub Online, and you can see there's a box which illustrates it just here. I'm just going to quickly click on this link to Study Hub. You'll notice that when I do, the page changes. And we've now gone into a community space in Blackboard in Brio. On the left-hand side, you can see the navigation for all of these spaces. This is where you can find out about how to deal with assignments, academic writing, how to do a dissertation, how to reference and avoid plagiarism, how to research, read and take notes, listen and take notes in lectures, how to do presentations, exams, mathematics, and so on. This is a really, really important place for you to use to support yourself. Getting back to the gateway is very simple. You'll notice at the top, the red bar is still there, and all you need to do is click on Gateway. It takes you back to the gateway where you'll find all the things that you need there. Next to the Gateway button at the top is a button labeled Units. We study at the university in units, and so this is where you go to find access to your units. One click, and again, the page changes to the units area. Now, there are a number of boxes here, and if you want to, you can change the layout of the page. You might, for example, want to have your announcements at the top of the page. You see there's a box just here. If I put the mouse over the box, you'll see it changes, and I've now got a mouse with 2 crossed arrows. If I click, hold the mouse down, and drag the box, I can move it on the page to a new position. The same is true for most of the boxes on the page, except for the unit search, which can't be moved. Probably the most important box for you on this page, though, will be My Units. And one of the things you can do with this area is control what appears in this box. You click on the cogwheel, you can see I've actually got a lot of units showing, or a lot of units that I have access to, and I'm only showing one because only one of them has ticks against it. If I wanted to show another one, this one for example, if I tick 2 boxes and submit, now I can see vanilla unit as well as diabetes and lipids. That's how you control what appears in this box. Okay, let's take a look at what we find in a unit. Click the name, and here we are. This is a unit. You'll notice on the left-hand side a set of navigation links. This should be consistent in all your units. You should see the same areas in all of your units. The first one, announcements, we're looking at now. This is where you'll see the announcements for your unit. The next link, unit information. This is where you should find information about your unit. This is about the running of the unit, not the teaching and learning. It's about the management. It's about the kind of things that you'll be expected to do. You may find that you are given documents as well as some text on the page. To see a document like this, you put your mouse on top of it and click. And that should either download the document for you or open it in your browser, depending on which browser you're using. The third area is called guided learning, and this is where you should find the learning materials for your unit. You may find it in a folder. This is a learning module folder. It looks like a ring binder. And to see what's in it, you would click on the underlined text. You should find that this fills over the weeks during the running of your course. Assessment and feedback is the area where you will find information about your assignment brief. You should find your assessment criteria, the way the marks are awarded, and instructions about how you should hand in your work. Most work is handed in electronically, and you should find a link to submit your work in exactly the same place, just here in assessment and feedback. The next link is called reading lists. Your unit should have an electronic reading list. You may have spotted just then, I clicked once, the page changed, and immediately it jumped to a new tab. You can see that I've now got a new tab open, and we're now looking at a library page instead of looking at Brio. Here we are. If I scroll down, you can see that I have a whole range of guided reading to allow me to do my reading online. These resources should be provided for you to support your learning. To go back to Brio, at the top here, I click on the tab and I'm back to where I started from. The last but one link is called Teaching Team, and this should show you the teaching team. The last link is called You Said, and this is where you should see feedback about the way your unit's being run. Every time a unit runs, we run a survey at the university and students are invited to give us feedback. Then your tutors are invited to publish here the results of that survey together with ideas for what they're going to do to address any issues. So that's the basic layout of Brio. That's the way you find your way around the units. You may find some more areas below the line here, but in all cases, your tutor should be giving you guidance about exactly what he or she wants you to do in Brio. So that's Brio. Good luck with your studies.
Thank you. All right, so let's just switch back again to our presentation. I hope that helped as well to give you guys a bit of an overview of what Brio looks like as well, because you'll be using Brio a lot. A lot of students underutilize Brio, and I strongly believe that Brio has so much potential to provide so much value as well, especially for resources, journals, articles, and books, etc. you can get via Brio. Now, apart from this, we'll also be conducting academic development as well, because this includes like academic writing. So we will have workshops to assist you in academic writing. This includes research skills, Harvard referencing, etc. And one of those will be covered tomorrow. In tomorrow's session, we'll be focusing primarily on Harvard referencing. I want you to know as well, as a tertiary level student, a lot of the work you're doing, you would be reviewing other sources online, as well as books, journals, etc. And you are required to utilize it in your work. Now, utilize doesn't mean just copy and paste wholesale. That's not what we're talking about. But a lot of your opinions will be based on what you've read. So other people will be influencing your thoughts and what you include. But you need to incorporate those into your work. And that's where proper referencing and citation needs to take place, and that will be discussed tomorrow's session. If you notice as well, Brio has a lot of resources to guide you further. So apart from what CTS does, you will get a lot of resources on Brio also to make that available for you. Then there's the student council. The student council basically is where you get to have a voice as well. So the student council, so there's a student council locally at CTS, and there's a bigger council with the university. But the intention is that as the council meets, they will also meet with the university staff, independent of us as well, to ensure that we are doing what we're supposed to do, and that also too they are doing what they're supposed to. Now, note, because of the whole COVID issue, the whole council, etc., things were totally disrupted this semester that has just finished here because of the COVID issue. So the student council didn't effectively meet because, and you could understand as well, things changed radically after the university had to close because of COVID. So the staff are working from home. So same thing in Trinidad, you'd realize, okay, we had to change a lot of what we do. So the student council became more silent during this time afterwards because I guess students were not meeting physically, etc. But the fact is that you still have a voice, and we encourage you as well to form the committee as well and let your voices be heard.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
How do you go about, well, I know that we are in quarantine time and we have the whole COVID issue going on, but assuming things get back normal while we're still studying, how do we go about joining the student council?
What we would do as well, we would encourage students to form the council. And to be quite honest as well, Chris, even while you're studying separately, etc., the truth is you all can still have a voice because you all are meeting with the group. And the council, really, anyone can be part of the council. Ideally or indirectly, everyone is part of the university, and anyone can choose to be the voice of the student, because so we don't have to vote, etc. You nominate yourself, And what we'll do, you can have multiple representatives from a given class in the council. So we are encouraging anyone who wants to be part, because all of you have a voice and you could represent the others as well, because sometimes somebody may have a concern or issue and we may not know about it, but they might confide in you, and it's an issue that something we are doing that is hindering their progress. Either it is our lecturers are not reviewing stuff on time, or we promise something we didn't deliver, etc. Right? So those things may happen, and therefore it may be impacting someone more than we would even know. And therefore what we expect is someone to come, not to sell out any student, but it's about helping us to better improve the student experience. Your experience is so important to us as well, and that's why it's important that we go beyond the call to ensure that you achieve what you expect and even more from the program. So in that regard, anyone who wants to be part of the council can become part of it. We don't really need a voting and all of those, right? So you just nominate yourself and we'll form the committee as well. Good?
Okay.
All right. Good. Next is, so apart from the student council, we're moving forward now, and we look at withdrawing or changing a course. It's possible that after starting the course, there are things that may happen that you didn't anticipate. And this, depending on the nature of events, you may need to withdraw from the course. I want you to know as well, staying home and saying nothing is not an indication of withdrawing. Not attending classes, not submitting an assignment doesn't mean you have withdrawn. Withdrawing is a formal process. And therefore, if you are interrupting your study, there are forms that you need to submit. That is why it's important at the start of the program, the university will send you an official letter of offer. You have to sign that letter of offer and submit it back to us to send to the university. Apart from that as well, you would also need to complete a TNE registration form. And once you fulfill that registration form as well, that goes to the university. All of these are like basically agreeing that I am a student of the university and I'll abide by their rules. And that also means withdrawing, because some students simply believe, look, I stop attending classes so I don't have to pay the fees for the university, right? Because I'm not coming, I'm not interested. It's not like that. This is not a relationship. You just simply walk out from there. Is an obligation. So naturally, I need to raise that with you all. Now, what it means is that, look, if you're dissatisfied, you talk to us. If it is, look, something happened and you realize, look, I can't commit to this level of study, whatever, this is where we have the support from early on, so we can recognize students who might be at risk and provide the level of support. But if a student waits until it's too late in their mind, it's difficult for us to provide that support. So the earlier you let us know, look, I'm having challenges, we really want to help. And I'm not just saying that here to market to you. It's my heart's desire to help each of you as well, right? So I really want you guys to come forward and tell us, look, hey, Ravi, we need some help here. Look, or this student is struggling. And, I would, as best as I can as well, try to meet with the student to help and provide the support. Often, guys, I spend more money on providing additional support than I pay for lecturing fees sometimes, because the whole idea is to get my students to succeed. The additional support sometimes come from the lecturers or maybe other persons as well who I would get to support my students. But the reality is that their role is not to do the work for you, is to help, to guide you, to show you, etc., so that you could get it done, is to empower you to get it done as well. Okay, so if you have ever going to withdraw, there is a formal process. Now, the other thing is, as you move from one semester to the other semester, it is automatic that you are moving forward. If you've done one semester and you don't want to go on to the next semester for whatever reason, there's something called an interruption of study form. It's an actual form you need to fill out. So please ensure that, look, you do the right thing. That is why this session is important, because many students just take it for granted because they miss the session, they don't go through the video, they don't go through the slides, and therefore they just, I'll do as I want because, I don't know anything about it. So you claim ignorance. Well, I don't know, so therefore, I just didn't bother to, right? So are you all clear on the process of withdrawing or interrupting your study? The assumption is that you're smoothly flowing from one semester to the other. If you're changing that, you need to formally inform myself and the university through proper forms, etc., that the university have in place, okay?
Hi, I got a question.
Go right ahead.
The interruption form, how long will that duration be?
Now, by default, your interruption is for 1 year, but that doesn't mean that once you submit an interruption, you cannot start earlier. So for example, a student of mine, he has to do an operation he's doing the operation this week. So he has to interrupt his studies, but he wants to join back in the next semester. So that simply means that when he fills out the interruption of study form, it's valid for a year, but when he's ready to resume, he will have another form to fill out to resume studies. You have to, it's a process, it's like a contract. So therefore, when you resume now, you have to, ready to resume, you have to fill out another form to resume again, right? So you have a form to exit and a form to join back, if you follow. Now, please note, withdrawal is different from interrupting your studies. When you withdraw, the university may choose not to accept you back at all. But if you interrupt your studies, it simply is what you call taking a break, and therefore you could resume afterwards. Okay, so note the difference in the two. Withdrawal is a last resort, and it's only if you know I'm not even bothering to come back to this program at all. Now, this is not that anything's wrong with the program. I'm just making it clear that, you know, look, we cannot foresee the future, and therefore you just understand the difference. Withdrawal means I don't plan to return. Interruption is I'm just taking a break to return later on. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, if you start a module and you fill out an interruption of studies form, you are still obligated to pay for the module, right? You still have to pay, but what you do is if you do an interruption of studies form and you resume with that same module, the university may waive the fee for that module because you are resuming it because you would have interrupted. But you would have had to pay off the fees in the first instance because once you enroll, the fees become due. Okay? Next.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, Daniel. Okay, in terms of learning and studying, you will be involved in participating in a wide range of teaching and learning activities, right? So we will have weekly lectures, seminars, etc., that you would need to participate in, right? Typically, is your weekly classes as well. You would have to engage in reading a lot of information, your texts, resources provided, plus a range of other materials as well. Okay, but if you look at what was provided, the university does provide a comprehensive set of material as well for each of the unit for you to review. Of course, as well, there'll be development of skills and knowledge as you go along as well, because the curriculum is set in such a way to help you to challenge you, to critique theories, and to be able to apply your knowledge and understanding to different problems in a range of different contexts. Of course, there are times you'll have to work independently and individually, and there are times when you have to work collectively as a group as well. Please note, even when you work as a group, your work is judged individually also, but understand that your lack of effort could impact other members as well. Now, in terms of learning resources, because of the video you saw on Brio, you will realize you'll have access to reading materials as well on Brio. Please note as well that CTS College has also procured the core text for each unit that you will have access to as well. It's at the school because these are hard copies, but apart from that, almost all the materials is available in soft copy for you online. Then there's the personal academic tutor. This is the term used at the university, but we call this your program manager at CTS College, right? And they are to provide support, etc., to you as you go along, any challenges you face with them, and they will help you in terms of your academic journey. There's assessments. Now, unlike most like CXC where you have a final exam that determines the overall result, that's not the case here. Every module will be assessed via 2 or more assignments. Now, one assignment may have many parts as well. So it all depends, but ideally you'll have 2 assignments typically for each unit. Assignment 1 might be due by the 6th week. Assignment 2 might be due by the 12th or 13th week. Once you submit your last assignment, that unit has been completed. Assignments may take different format. One assignment might be worth 30%, the other assignment 70%. One assignment might be worth 50% and the other 50. One might be 40, 60. It all depends as well. And it varies from unit to unit. There's no fixed rating. And what you're required to do for the assignment may vary. So for example, in one of the units, the student had, for one assignment, had to do 3 things. One, they had to develop a prototype. A prototype is more design a prototype. So you had to develop what the screens would look like using software. Then you had to do a written document outlining your design decisions, why you did it that way, because everything you have to justify. It's not like, I like this, whatever. There are design choices that you need to follow. So you need to show that you're applying theory to your decisions. And then apart from that, you have to do a video as well where you present your design, and it's like a marketing pitch. Now, I know some students might be shy, etc. But the truth is that if we're going to develop leaders, if you are going to an interview and you want to market your skill, you're not going to go to an interview and show them, hey, this is my certificate, and that's not how it works. You have to sell yourself at that interview. And what I found in the program, a lot of the modules you have to present using video and audio, and using either PowerPoint slides, etc., but you're recording, voice recording over it, etc. And what this is doing is giving students the confidence to be able to speak, to be able to talk, and to be able to share what they do. Because if you can't market what you do, you're going to have a big challenge when you go to interview, even in your workplace as well. So the course is also adding that level of skill as well to students. So you have a lot of presentations to do as well, where you develop videos to present and discuss the work that you have done. You will have to write assignments. Writing is a key part of it here, because with most things as well, you may have to do coding, but there's also a written component to many of the stuff that you do as well. And in writing, in order to write assignments, you have to do proper time management as well as critical thinking and critical writing skills. Harvard referencing becomes crucial in these type of assignments. Now, just a few note points as well when you're writing academic English, right? It's usually formal in tone and impersonal in style. Avoid using contractions such as won't, don't, it's, etc. Avoid using those terms. Avoid using contraction. Usually contraction will have the, like the apostrophe in it, right? So avoid contraction. Avoid using a linking word such as and or but at the beginning of a sentence. So don't start a sentence with and or but. Avoid personal pronouns. When you're writing these, avoid saying I or me or you or your. Instead, use third person such as the project. Instead of my project, you say this project, etc. So you have to change your tone. You have to move from first person to third person. You may use passive form of verb. Avoid verbs that are composed of multiple words such as give up, put up with, etc. And tend to employ a cautious way of explaining findings using expressions such as may, it is possible that, etc. And of course, you may use a specialized vocabulary as well. Of course, Harvard referencing is crucial. A lot of what you do is expected to be gained, is knowledge gained from reading books, reading journals, magazine or articles, etc. Please note that for a lot of students, it's easier just to go and Google stuff. But note, Google has a lot of authoritative sources. And because they are not peer-reviewed, right? Peer-reviewed will be more, when I say peer-reviewed, I mean journals, articles, etc. that have been reviewed by peers, right? So those are preferred, as opposed to just going on Google and finding stuff. It's far easier finding stuff on Google, certainly, but these are unauthoritative sources. And because they're not authoritative, the value of it to your assignment is not that great. So often when you're doing assignments, you need to show as many peer-reviewed sources rather than just stuff you're finding on the web, because those stuff are not peer-reviewed. So the authority, the integrity of it cannot always be easily verified. Okay, so just a note regarding that. And as I said, you are encouraged to cite as many people as possible, because once you're using somebody's work in your assignment, you need to cite it and you need to reference them as well. Referencing simply means acknowledging the work of the others. It happens even in the music industry. You hear about plagiarism as well, because if you plagiarize another artist as well, you could be charged for it. You need to give them royalty for using their work. In the case of this, you're not paying people to use their stuff, but you are referencing up in your reference section, you're acknowledging that you had used their work. And using doesn't mean quote word for word. It means you are taking it, you are going to paraphrase it. Paraphrase means writing it in your own words. Just a note, if you are writing your essay and a lot of it is simply quotes, direct quotes, then it means that you're going to have a high similarity index. What a similarity index is, when you submit your work, the university is going to take that work and they're going to use something called Turnitin. Turnitin checks your work to see if it's plagiarized or to see if there are other similar things out there. So it looks on the web, it looks at books, journals, magazines, etc., to see if you're just simply copying and pasting as well. If your level of similarity is high, that's an academic offense, even if you properly cite and reference your work. Because, for example, if 40% of your work is just quote unquote from other stuff, what this is saying is that only 60% of this is really your work. The other 40% is just direct quotes you're just dumping into your work. Instead, what you are expected to do is use this stuff, but paraphrase by putting it into your own words. In tomorrow's session, we will teach you about paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is crucial. So I really want you guys to attend tomorrow's session as well on referencing, which will include teaching about paraphrasing as well. Now, when you're submitting your work is submitted not to CTS. You're not emailing it to Ravi and say, Ravi, that's my assignment. That's not how it goes. Your work is submitted on Brio. Brio checks the actual time of submission. Now, the University of Bedfordshire is really, how to put it, in terms of deadline, they're sticker for deadlines. If you submit your work late, it automatically gets a mark of 0. Now, all deadlines on Brio are in UK time, not Trinidad time. So right now we are 5 hours behind. So if it is 12 noon, it will be 7 a.m. Trinidad time. So you cannot say, well, I see 12 o'clock on Brio, so I'm submitting it for 12 o'clock. That's UK time. You must remember to convert to TT time. If your assignment submitted late, you would not be marked. You get 0. So it's so crucial that you submit your work on time. I'm going to show you what to do if you're late. If you think you're going to be late, what you can do. Okay. Now, so if you're going to be late, as I said, late work without a formal approval is not accepted, and you'll get a mark of 0. However, if you are going to be late, you need to apply for mitigating circumstance. Now, so there's a form to fill out for mitigation, but that form must be submitted before the deadline date of the assignment. Now, in special cases, they may accept it if it's late, but you have to justify why the mitigation form is late. But when you're submitting a mitigation form, it's a form you need to fill out, but you need to provide supporting evidence. So you cannot just say, well, I am sick. You need to provide sick leave, right? With mitigation as well, there are some things they will accept and some things they will not accept. You cannot say, well, my computer crashed. You are expected to have your work backed up online as well. Another encouragement to students, I encourage you guys, everything you do, have it on cloud storage. Always cloud storage. Don't just store stuff on flash drive as well. Flash drive should be like a copy, not the original. Your work should always be on online storage. Whatever you do, put everything in your online storage, please, because I've had too many students who lost their work last minute where it's impossible to start all over again, right? So you could imagine the frustration that the student undergoes, and that's because of lack of adhering. As an IT professional, you're expected to do certain things the right way because you are setting the standard. Okay, so if you're applying for mitigation, it is submitted to the university mitigation team. There's a specific email address it goes to. There's a form you fill out, and it must include supporting evidence. So if you're claiming your employer you have to work long hours, your employer need to provide supporting evidence, but you need to be familiar with what is and is not accepted under mitigation, please. All right. So when you submit your mitigation, you continue working on your assignments and you submit your assignment as soon as you finish, right? Mitigation is not guaranteed, however. Good. So mitigation is the only option you have if you're going to be late with your assignment. Questions there regarding lateness and mitigation? All right. Now, just some terms used as well. Often if I tell you your work is very good, you might feel great about your work. Or if I say this is good work, you might feel real excited. But what the university calls good and what you think is good are two different terms. This is the marking scheme, and I want you to look at the grade descriptor, right? If your work is satisfactory, it's usually from 40 to 50%, 40 to 49. If your work is good, if the university tells you this is good, it means it's from 50 to 59. So when you get good and you're feeling real good about it, please know that's really a mark between 50 and 59, okay? Commendable is 60 to 69. Excellent, 70 to 79. Outstanding is 80 to 100. Please note for first class honors work, it's 70 and above. Upper second is 60s. Lower second is in the 50s. And third class is in the 40s. Note anything under 40 is considered a fail. Okay? All right. In terms of the marking strategy, the university will employ markers, more than one marker for your work. So it is graded by a tutor and is also second marked independently to ensure that the grade is appropriate. Okay. In addition, there's an independent external examiner who's outside of the university who samples a random set of, does a random sampling, which basically is take a random set of the work to verify consistency across the work. So these are steps that the university goes through to ensure that when you get your mark, it is consistent and that the university has done a proper process in marking. Now, there is an appeal process as well. But in terms of the appeals process, please note the following here, and this is the link to go through the appeals and complaints process on Brio. If you have any, if you want to appeal your score, etc., they go through this process. Please note here, it's not, university doesn't easily change a score when you appeal, okay? Because they believe in their system of assigning a mark, and therefore, there's not often you see students getting a change of grade, okay? Now, there's academic offense. And what is an academic offense? Well, an academic offense is when you plagiarize somebody else's work, or you have a high level of similarity, even though the work may be well cited, or you use other people's work and you didn't cite it at all. So all of those are what you call academic offense. So it's like a criminal offense, but on an academic side, it's called an academic offense. And for an academic offense, you may fail a module. You might get just 1 mark for your assignment, okay? So it's crucial, therefore, that you check your work for plagiarism as well. And the truth is, you should know fully well if you are plagiarizing somebody's work or not, right? It won't just happen by circumstance that you just have to type over everybody's work into your work and not realize you're doing it, right? So the truth is, you will know if you're copying somebody else's work or not. So it's important that you develop the art of paraphrasing. And paraphrasing means at least 90% of the words has changed. It's not just change around a word or two and think you fool them. The Turnitin software is really smart now, and it can detect where you're just, filling in and replacing and all of those things as well, okay? Now, in order to pass a unit, you must get a combined total score in all your assignment. Your total score must be 40 or more, right? So that's for passing a unit. Now, it's possible you could fail an assignment and pass overall still, because you could pass one unit very high and fail another, but your overall score is 40 or more. Now, just a note, this slide here tells you what the rule is, but what I've found in practice is that according to this rule is that your mark must be 35 or more in an assignment in order to pass, right? To still pass overall. But I've seen cases where, but it's up to the unit leader discretion, where students get less than 35 in one, but overall they pass and they allow them to pass the module, okay? And of course, in order to progress from one level, if you're moving from level 4 to 5 or 5 to 6, the rule is that you must pass 90 credits. Each subject is 30 credits. So 90 credits mean you must pass 3 out of the 4 subjects, and you must have at least 35% in the 4th subject that you fail. So if you pass all 4, you move on to the next level. If you pass 3 out of the 4 and you fail the other one, but you score 35 or more, they'll allow you to progress, okay? Of course, they may choose to make exception to that rule as well, but the truth is, this is the rule that they will work with if there are any queries, etc. Okay? What if
I got a question.
Go right ahead, bud.
All right. About the markings, the credits. If you're 1 credit short, what will be
No, it could either be 30
that?
credit, because each subject is 30 credits. So you won't be 1 credit. You're either 30 credits, or every subject is 30 credit, right?
Okay.
So based on that now, just let's go over the question now. So if you are 30 credits short, or 1 subject short, Daniel, sorry, I don't mean to, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, if you're 1 subject short, what will be the outcome of that?
So meaning that you're in level 4 going into level 5, you pass 3 subjects and you fail 1,
yeah,
then they may allow you to progress to level 5, but you just repeat that other subject.
Okay.
Good?
Yes, thanks.
All right, no problem. So if you fail an assignment, they may require to, if you fail an assignment and you pass overall, they may not ask you to do over the fail assignment, all right? However, if you failed the module, then you will be given a referral, and for the referral, you'll have to do over the failed assignment. So if you fail, if ideally, now what the slide says, if you fail an assignment, you'll have to do it over. But what I've found in practice is that if you pass overall, they don't ask you to do it over. But that's what they've been practicing. Again, they may choose to go back to the rule, but their practice is a bit more lenient than the rule, except for when it comes to late submission. So if you fail one assignment but you pass overall, they will normally allow you to pass the module. However, if you fail the module, they will give you what you call a referral in the assignment, right? And when you get a referral means you have to redo the assignment in most cases. Without having to repeat the module, you just do over the assignment. A referral is at no extra charge. It's simply a second chance to pass the module without repeating the whole course. So what they do is while you continue your other courses, you get a referral, and you do that referral while you're doing your other assignments and coursework, okay? Now, when your referral is marked, your mark is capped at 40%, okay? All right, now, what if you fail a subject? A unit is a subject. If you fail a subject, then naturally, you will be required to retake that subject at a course at a later date, okay? So you'll be required to redo that subject at a cost at a later date, because if you're repeating, the cost to repeat the module is the same cost of the module the first time as well, okay? And depending on the fail, if it's a minor fail, you may be allowed to progress, but if it's a major fail, you may not be allowed to progress to the next level, okay? You could progress within the same level, but you may not be allowed to progress to a higher level. And in terms of graduating, there's the honors classification with first class, second class, etc. As indicated above, if you're going through year 1, year 2, year 3, then how they determine your honors classification is they use the project. So the project plus your 2 other best marks in the final year. So those are your three marks. The project and the 2 other best scores, they use that, and they also use the best 90 credits from the year 2. If you're starting directly in year 3, then they use your best 90 credits, but it must include the project and 2 other modules, okay, to determine your class of degree. Once they find the average, if it's 70 or more, you get first class. If it's in the 60s, you get upper second. If it's in the 50s, you get lower second. If it's in the 40s, you get third class honors, okay? And that's a bit about the program handbook. The next section now we're going to look at is the fees policy, okay? Now, just a note as well, we would have looked at the fees previously when we did the information session, but just to note the following, right? The fee policy applies to all students enrolled in the BSc IT program at CTS College. Okay, so it's important that you understand the fee policy as well. When does the fee policy become applicable? Well, to become a student of the University of Bedfordshire, you must be accepted by the university via letter of offer, and you must sign and return the letter of offer along with a signed and completed TNE registration form. So that's 2 forms you have to submit. Once you submit those signed forms to the university, it's accepting the fact that you are now a student of the University of Bedfordshire. Once you are a student of the University of Bedfordshire, automatically you're also a student of CTS College in the program. So you cannot say, well, I'm only studying with the university and I'm not bothering with CTS. Once you are enrolled with the university, you're automatically enrolled with CTS as well, okay? Now, of course, you still have to register with CTS for our system, but if you don't come in the office to register, we will register you because you are part of the module. Because we do have, based on the past, we've had students who are in the program, but they don't come to the front desk to register, so we will register them if they don't show up to register, because the fact is that they are part of the program, and therefore once you will be registered on our system if you don't show up to register. The fees, you would have gotten the fees before on a couple of times via emails as well. It's the same stuff with the fees as well. Okay, so if you're starting level 4, it's the fees, they are 4 subjects, or level 5, all of them are 4 subjects except the bridging program where there's only 1 subject. In the bridging program, the registration fee is $500, the tuition fee is $2,000, and the university fee is £150. Now that is paid in pounds, not in TT dollars, right? And only the CTS fees are paid in TT and the university fees paid in pounds. Also, when you're paying, you could pay it for the total level, or you could pay per semester, or you could pay monthly if you wish. If you're paying per semester and you're doing 2 modules per semester at level 4, you pay $500 to register. It's $2,000 per subject, and you're doing 2 subjects in your first semester, that's $4,000. And the university fees is £150 per subject by 2 subjects, which is £300 in that semester. Of course, the fees for each of the levels are here. Repeat fees. If a student fails a unit, then the student will be required to repeat the unit, and the cost of repeating the unit is the same as the cost of the fees for the first time as well. Okay.
So I have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Don't worry, you go right ahead. Ask.
We're doing 4 units per semester, right?
No, you're doing
But
2 units per semester.
2 units per semester.
Yes, so you need 2 semesters to finish your level. That's why it's done in 8 months. 1 semester is 4 months, 2 semesters, 8 months. 2 subjects per semester.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, thanks.
All right, no problem. Okay, so in terms of repeat fee, once you fail a subject, you have to repeat. The fees become payable. All right, this is discount special offer. We do have a special offer as well. Once you pay off your fees, the full fee for the semester, by the start date of the semester, you get $250 off each subject, right? So once you pay off your fees by the start of the semester, both CTS and university fees, you get $250 off each subject. Make sure you inform the front staff as well to get your discount. Okay. All right. And there are payment plans, and the payment plan could be either you pay up front or you could pay monthly as well, right? And in terms of monthly installment, so this is if you're the semester payment. So this is, so remember you just asked about the semester. So this is what a semester payment looks like. In level 4, or level 5 or level 6, you're doing 2 modules per semester. So in level 4, this is what your semester fees look like. It'll be $500 for registration, $4,000 for tuition for the semester, and $300 for the university fees. If you're in level 5, year 2, it's $500 to register, $4,500 per semester for the tuition, and £3,000 for the university fees. If you're in level 6, it's $500 to register, $5,000 for the semester tuition, and £750 for the university fees for the semester. And in 2 semesters, you'll finish each program. Good? If you're doing the monthly payment, this is what your monthly installment looks like. The monthly installment only applies to the CTS tuition. And the reason why it's not applicable to the university fees is because I have to pay the university fees up front. All right. So it's important that, you know, the student pays so I can pay the university as well. In terms of the fees, the monthly fee for tuition, if you're in level 4, it's $500 per month per subject. So if you're doing one subject is $500, if you're doing 2 subjects is $1,000 per month for 4 months. And the same for level 5, I have the fees there, and level 6, I have the tuition fees per month. Okay. Any question regarding? So notice the monthly installment applies to the tuition fees here. Now next, how do I pay the fees? Because there's the CTS fees, which is registration and tuition, and there's the university fees. How do I go about paying them? Well, to pay the CTS fees, which is tuition and registration, you could pay it at the office. Now, by the way, as of yesterday, the office has reopened. So this week we'll be open from 8 until 3, and from next week we'll open from 8 until 6. Now, please note, previously we were open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But given the fact that COVID has really encourage us to move more of the stuff online, and we've gotten more and more students to use online banking to do their payments, we realize now that we don't need to wait to have staff there until 8 o'clock. We can work shorter hours now. So we'll work from 8 until 6 from next week. And that will be our continuous operating hours, 8 to 6 Monday to Friday, and 8 to 4 on a Saturday. All right. And so you could pay at the office using cash, checks, credit card, links, etc. So you have all of those options at the office. You could pay via online banking, where you could transfer fees from your account to our account. And I had the detailed file. I sent you that file via email. Well, I will send that to you all as well after. I haven't sent that to you all as yet. All right. And also you could pay at any branch of First Citizens Bank. The instructions for payments are follows here. So if you're paying at CTS College, you come in and you could use these. These are the different options we have available. If it's online banking, this is our account number. This is our account name. I just need to include it's a checking account in here in case you're paying from one of the other banks. Now, please note, once you're paying via online banking, ensure that you send an email to us at study@CTS College advising that you made the payment. An email simply indicating the amount you paid and the bank you paid from and what it is for is sufficient for us, because it gives us a record that you made the payment, so that when we check our account, we can verify it. Please note that sometimes, especially with Scotiabank, when a student pays via Scotiabank, all we see in our account is simply Scotiabank and an amount. We don't see the student name or anything. So it's really difficult for us now to verify which student made the payment, which is why we always ask, once you're making a payment online, send an email and ensure you get a receipt for your payment, please. Okay? And of course, you could go to any branch of First Citizens Bank. This is our account number, same account number, etc. And you can make your payment directly there. Email us a copy of the receipt as well. Now, please note, there's a separate account for the TT payment, right? This 1397019, that's the account number using to pay us in TT dollars. If you're paying the University of Bedfordshire, there's a separate account. This account is a GBP account. Please don't mix up the account numbers, because if you do, your pounds will be converted to TT, and when it converted to TT, it's at a much lower rate than you paid for it. So if you're paying the university fees, you can either get cash, meaning GBP currency, or a bank draft made out to CTS College, or direct deposit into our account. Note, when you're paying the university fees, you're not writing it to University of Bedfordshire, you're paying it to CTS College. The very first year we started the program with the university, we started an MBA with them. Students prepared bank drafts, and we took the bank drafts to the university, and the bank drafts were made by the student to the University of Bedfordshire. They rejected all of the drafts, and we had to return the drafts back to the student. And when the student had to change the name of the draft from university to CTS, they lost money, and we had to refund the student for the loss of money. But we were advised by the university that they were accepting draft. But when we got there, the finance head said he's not going to accept it. So it cost us about $15,000 to pay back students who had done drafts, right? So don't do the draft made out to University of Bedfordshire. Please make it out to CTS College, because the university invoices us and we invoice you, okay?
So just CTS College on the draft?
Or CTS.
Payable.
You could use CTS College, or you could use the full name, CTS College of Business and Computer Science.
Okay.
Is there no online payment option?
For this, no, there isn't. So the university doesn't accept like credit card payment directly from the student. So, and we don't have that option available where you pay credit, because you see, if you're paying us, the only way you could pay it to this, because it's a foreign currency, you have to actually pay it using either bank draft, etc. You can't just use a credit card payment for it. It's not available, at least not yet, right? So these are the options. Or you could directly deposit the funds into the CTS GBP account. Now this last one, I want to make it clear. If you're depositing into the GBP account, you cannot go, if you don't have an account with First Citizens, you cannot go to First Citizens, which is our bank, and tell them, I have TT dollars, I want to deposit so much pounds into CTS account. Banks now, because there's a shortage of foreign exchange, banks are not giving anyone foreign exchange easily. So you need to go to your bank to get your foreign exchange, and then after, or your draft, etc. And then you could bring it into us at the office, or you could deposit it at a First Citizens Bank near you, whichever is more convenient. And of course, you send us the confirmation for it, okay? So those are the options. You don't need to come to CTS for any of these, because all of the options are now available remotely. So in terms of cash, you can use GBP notes. Please make sure that it's not expired notes. Just like our $100 bill, the old one, the cotton bills are no longer accepted. Some of the GBP bills are no longer accepted as well. So if you're getting it from Granny or something like that, make sure it's not an expired note that you're getting, please, as well, right? And of course, the bank draft must be in GBP currency, not TT currency for this year. And of course, the direct deposit, this is the account number, the 2106244. This is the account number. Okay?
Can you just go back to the slide you had before, please?
This one, the bank draft?
This one. Yeah, just want to take a screenshot.
Sure. And I'll email all of this to you all, and I'll email a separate file with a guide as well on payments also, right? But what I'll do, I'll email those closer to when you guys are accepted and stuff, and you've accepted the offer, then I'll send you those payment stuff, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so just to note as well, okay, in terms of withdrawal, students who have started the course will be automatically enrolled from one semester to the next until they have completed their course. and therefore automatically you'll be liable for the fees for the entire semester, right? If you are withdrawing or you are interrupting your studies, etc., there are forms to fill out. Please, I'm reiterating to you, this is the university's policy that I'm echoing to you, and I have to absorb and accept the policy and work with it as well, and so to you as well. So I want to be clear to you, because I don't want you to say that I never said so, etc. This is simply the university's policy regarding these. Okay. All right. This is the fee liability. So if, for example, you decide to withdraw when you start the program, you have a fee liability. If you withdraw within the first 3 weeks, you're responsible for 25% of the semester fee, both to CTS and university. If you're withdrawing between the 21st and the 42nd day, so that's the 3rd and 6th week, you're responsible for 50% of your fees. And if you're withdrawing from after the 6th week, you're responsible for the full amount. Okay. So this is again university's policy. Okay. Now, another thing to note as well, if at the end of a semester the student hasn't paid off their fees, we may then choose to disallow you from continuing to the next semester. But of course, we will have to complete forms and stuff to send to the university if a student has not paid off their fees to move from one semester to the other. So ideally, you need to clear your fees to move from one semester to the next. Okay, guys, are there any further questions you have? Are there any further questions? Are there any additional questions you guys have?
No, I'm pretty good.
All right. What I'll do as well, now I have this session recorded. Now, part of the recording, when we were switching to the breakout room, it will look a bit jerky when you get the video as well. Please accept my apology for that part of it. The link, the file should be converted later tonight. I'll upload the video, and hopefully later tonight or by tomorrow, I'll send you the link to the recording along with the slides, etc. for today's session. Okay. Tomorrow is just a gentle reminder. You have the Harvard referencing session. I want all of you to attend as well. It's a crucial session. Okay.
Okay.
Any further questions before we end today's session?
Just a quick question, Robbie. When will we find out if we've been enrolled?
Right. So the university indicated now by Thursday. So by Thursday, I anticipate we'll get the letters. Right. Now, please forgive me. I know that I have been constantly following up with them as well. It's beyond my control, and I know the delays are, to me, as a point where I feel that it is almost unforgivable now, because at the end, I feel as though my whole, my ethics and your trust in me has declined because of they're not able to fulfill. But I cannot issue an offer letter. It has to come from them, and therefore, I'm sorry if I was given promises and assurances would have been here already, but unfortunately, it has not been. So now I'm told that by Tuesday you'll have it. So I'm trusting them that they will be able to deliver on what they said, right? Now, one other thing go ahead.
Another question, right? I know that we have payment plans for for the school itself, but in terms of the payment towards the university, is there a deadline that we have to make the payment by the pounds specifically?
All right, okay. So before I get to that answer, I just want to share this first with you all, right? Now, the current semester, the students who enroll in this first semester, they got an extension for 2 of their assignments, a level 6 class and a level 5 class, both got extension. And it means that they have to submit assignment by the 12th of June. And because they have to submit assignments by the 12th of June, what I've decided to do, initially, the semester was supposed to start this Saturday, right? And what I've done, I got approval from the university to start the semester next week instead. So the semester does not start this Saturday. It starts next Saturday, which is the Saturday, the 13th of June.
About 5 minutes.
And so given that's the case, I will give you until the 13th of June to get the bank draft for the university. If, however, you are having any challenges, I would not stop you from starting, but let me know and I will work along with you as well. because I understand that, look, we're living in a situation where it's a little different now. I'm very mindful of people's concern about going to the banks, etc. But we know that to get the draft, you have to go to the bank, right? So,
but besides having an issue to go to the bank, there's also the issue of the foreign exchange being limited. So banks could essentially tell us, well, we don't have the funds to facilitate you.
Understood.
So what I'm looking at is, if we don't meet the payment, what will be the outcome?
I will allow you to start. I will have to pay the university regardless. But the fact is that in order to minimize my risk, I would like everyone to pay as early as you can, right? Ideally, in order to qualify for the discount, you pay by the start date, right? However, if you have delays, and I'm trusting your delays is because you're not getting the Forex rather than it's a delinquency, right? Then I would allow you that extension of time as well. Okay. So in that case, I cannot give you a fixed time that if I don't get it by this, I'll withdraw you. That's not the case. But the fact is that I trust that you will try your best to get the funds as well. If you're having any problems, or just let me know, I could issue a letter to you to take to the bank to show that you enroll, as well as the fees that the bank will consider as well. Okay.
Okay.
But so far, all the students have been able to get their drafts because, have been able to get their drafts. So I haven't had a student who was just completely rejected. I did have a student who had to go back more than once because simply they did not have any Forex on the day that the student went. All the Forex was already issued, so they have to go back again, right? Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording at this point as well. I'll remain here if you need to ask questions, if you feel free to leave as well. So this is the official end of our session.